How to write impactful policy paper. What is policy paper? A policy paper is a brief document in which the results and recommendations of a research are presented to a non-specialized audience. The aim of a policy paper is to analyze large amounts of complex data/information in order to present a short, neutral summary on a specific issue. Who are the policymakers? A policymaker is someone who creates ideas and plans, especially those carried out by a business or government. These includes government ministers, MPs, civil servants, local councils. The policy community, pressure groups, charities, community organizations, trade unions, the media, think tanks. Anyone that can influence the decision makers. What is the purpose of the policy paper? The purpose of a policy paper is to provide policy recommendations. The critical question to ask is, does the paper identify the problem, present possible solutions, evaluate the effectiveness of these alternatives, and make recommendations on which course of action to follow? Policy papers need to be formal, concise, straightforward, organized, logical, thoughtful, well-researched, well-supported, well-written, well-argued. What are the elements of the policy papers? Introduction. Define the purpose of the policy paper, clearly state the purpose of the paper, propose a new policy. Analyze existing policies. Evaluate the effectiveness of a policy. Identify the target audience, specify the intended audience. Policymakers, researchers, stakeholders, general audience. Provide a brief overview of the paper's content, give a brief summary of the main points and arguments presented in the paper. Research and analysis. Conduct thorough research, gather relevant data, statistics, and studies from credible sources. Analyze the data, use statistical analysis and other methods to identify patterns, trends, and correlations that support your claims. Evaluate existing policies and research to identify strengths, weaknesses, and gaps. Identify key stakeholders. Argumentation and evidence. Present clear and concise arguments. Use evidence-based language. Anticipate counterarguments, use visual aids. Policy recommendations. Present clear and specific policy recommendations. Provide a clear implementation plan. Identify potential obstacles and challenges. Conclusion. Summarize the main points and arguments presented in the paper. Reiterate the importance of the issue and why it is important to address it. Provide a call to action for policymakers, stakeholders, or other relevant parties to take action on the policy recommendations. Expert tips. Use a clear and concise title that clearly states the purpose of the paper and is easy to understand. Use headings and subheadings to break up your paper into sections and make it easier to read. Include relevant appendices such as tables, charts, or additional data that support your arguments. Use credible sources such as academic journals, government reports, or reputable organizations to support your arguments. In conclusion, the policy papers are a critical step towards achieving specific policy goal or objective. We believe that by working together, policymakers, researchers, and stakeholders can come together to create positive change in society. Guidance for creating content and visual identity of Smart Balkans policy papers. Follow the framework to create a consistent and professional visual identity for Smart Balkans policy papers, ensuring all materials align with the project's branding, identity, and communication standards. Content elements. Explore how the policy paper contributes to national or regional security and stability in the Balkans region, offering insights and recommendations. Analyze governance-related issues. Use gender-sensitive language throughout the policy paper to ensure respect and objectivity. Visibility elements. Brand integrity. Maintain the integrity of the Smart Balkans project and donor logos in all materials. Follow the visibility guidelines to ensure a consistent and professional appearance. Communication protocols. Obtain mandatory approval for all visual and communication materials. Ensure that all materials and communications reflect the project values of transparency, professionalism, integrity, and local ownership.